Well, to discuss whether Prime Minister's protection team may have made mistakes, I'm joined at the touchscreen by Mick Quilter, a former personal protection officer at the Metropolitan Police. Mick, thanks very much for being here. Let's just start by taking a look again at that footage and get your initial thoughts.
Well, my initial thoughts are that, well, everyone says how they get that close to the Prime Minister, but at least the attacker was stopped.
Yeah.
And no real harm came to the PM as such.
It didn't in this incident, did it? But no. It could have done. Let's take a look in a little bit more detail about exactly what happened at the touchscreen. So this is David Cameron walking out of that meeting in Leeds, and we've got two protection officers with him. Just talk to us about the formation.
We've got a close protection officer in advance of the Prime Minister, and behind him we've got his personal protection officer.
So this is the one who's right on his shoulder.
It should be right on his shoulder.
And this is advanced.
The guy who's advancing him, and then you should have other people around the area, so to speak.
OK, so let's have a look.
Or in close proximity, at least.
This is where we first see Dean Bubba Farley, the man who was running past and ran into the Prime Minister, first entering shot. Are there any concerns for you here?
Well, my only concern here is that the CPO, the close protection officer, appears to be looking to his left, and I understand the attacker's coming from his right. You'd like to think he'd be at least scanning, looking left and right. Yeah.
OK, so let's see what happens next. This is the moment at which he runs in between the close protection officer and the Prime Minister, and he's getting pretty close. We don't know something in his hand there. Of course, in this case, it wasn't anything serious, but it could have been.
Well, thankfully, I dare say if there had been something in his hand, the PPO here would have said something, because he'd have seen it, because you can see he's looking directly at the attacker, and he's immediately reacted. He's done all his training's kicked in there.
And the close protection officer is still heading towards the car, hasn't seemed to have noticed what's going on.
Admittedly, it looks like he's unaware, but again, we've got to think of the time frame. This is literally milliseconds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We are taking out frame-by-frame shots here. Let's have a look what happens next. OK, so he's seen what's going on.
This is a realisation, that something's happened. The Prime Minister's under attack as far as he's concerned. The PPO is dealing with it, or trying to deal with it. So we're waiting for a reaction from him. And also, I'd like to think there'd be a reaction from other people, because these two won't be on their own.
We do see this gentleman here running in shortly, as well, as you can see. So the close protection officer, who was the advance, has now run into frame. But David Cameron?
Well, basically, the CPO's been sucked into the melee, and the PM is left on his own, walking the street. I know he likes his profile to be a man of the people, but in this instance, I personally feel someone should have grabbed hold of him.
So he's quite exposed
there. Very exposed
if this were an actual deliberate attack on him, and there could have been a second person
It looks that way,
in.
but again, this has all happened in a matter of seconds.
OK, let's just move on there, and here we go. They've realised, they've rushed to David Cameron and are getting into the car.
Put him into a vehicle.
Let's just take a quick look at that footage one more time before we get your final thoughts.
You see, again, you've got two CPOs that would appear taking Mr. Cameron into the car.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got Mr. Osborne there. He'll have some sort of protection team as well. And also, because they're in West Yorkshire, there should be support from West Yorkshire.
But they do look quite exposed, don't they? Just finally, there is a review now underway. You would expect that. What do you think will be the outcome?
Beef up the teams, beef up the surrounds of the PM, have a few more protection officers deployed to do their job properly.
So you think this happened because there weren't enough people
Basically,
around?
yeah, I think resources are stretched, as we all know, stretched even more in the counties than they are in the Met, and so they're unfortunately let down.